Hey, Trucker Todd here, and it's time for another video. Today, I want to talk to you about Roadrunner switching from the Rand McNally HD100 electronic log. It started off as an AOBRD and then got converted to an ELD over to the Omnitracs XRS system. Before we do, though, let me remind everybody, if you haven't done so yet, don't forget to like and subscribe and click the bell notification so that you'll receive a notification when new videos come out. Also, share these videos with people either in or out of trucking that you think could benefit from this information. Now, let's jump right in. First thing I want to do is show you what the system itself looks like. So here's a video on that. Here is the wiring. It plugs into your diagnostic port under your dash of your truck is where most, if not all of them are. It's a thick wire, as you can see. I've got it hidden there. Comes up here like this. It's that big white cable. They give you plenty of cord, as you can see. And it comes to this box right here. Okay, now that you've seen what it looks like, let's talk about it. So, I had left Orlando, Florida. I went to Atlanta the first week that Roadrunner had started putting these Omnitracs in trucks. Now, I had originally been told that it would probably be the end of the first quarter before we got them, and so I was excited to get it and be one of the first people to try it. I'm told I was one of the first 30 to get it, and I was really excited because if you've seen my other videos, you know I'm not a big fan of the Rand McNally system. Now this system operates a little different. It works, I downloaded actually they sent me an app to download via text message, and it uses my phone and my data to operate. We're still waiting for the numbers on the cost of the system and what the monthly service charge will be. I don't have that information at this time. But anyway, I get to Atlanta, and I had already called safety in advance and said, hey, if I'm able to, I'd really like to get this new system. And I go in there and I see the guy. Now there's two guys that are there. One of them is a Roadrunner representative, and I don't know what his exact title was. He was training with an Omnitracs person so that he could, I guess, in the future do it himself without the Omnitracs person there. Now, there were some issues. Now, let me say this before we go any further. The Roadrunner representative Atlanta that I dealt with, I believe his first name started with a G. I'd have to go back and look. Very good, represented Roadrunner very well, very, very professional, friendly. But he was in training, and so having said that, and me being one of the first ones, he didn't have all the answers. The Omnitracs guy had gone to lunch when I got there, so we had to wait a little bit for him to get back. And the Omnitracs guy, little bit different story. First of all, the Omnitracs guy told me that he was a former truck driver, and I find that really hard to believe. And I'll tell you why. When we're setting this up, first of all, well, there's a lot of things to this. First of all, he didn't know what running recaps on your logbook are. Now, the way this came about is I said, hey, I'm running recaps on my Rand McNally. Can you migrate my hours over so that I'll see how many hours I've got available each day? He said, no, I can't migrate your hours over, but he didn't know what a recap was. He thought I was talking about tires. And even though I'm going to show you here in just a second, the system itself uses that exact term, recap, he didn't have a clue what recapping was. He said, well, I've heard it's called something else before, and I forget the term he used. It was something silly I'd never heard of. So This wouldn't be such a big deal except the representative that the ELD company themselves sent out doesn't know something basic as running recap hours on your logbook. But before we go any further, let me show you what it shows on the actual system. And what I did is I took a screenshot because the app's on my phone, and I sent it to my tablet, and then I blew the screenshot up on my tablet so that you'd be able to see it clearly. And look at the second to the last line, and then we'll jump back in. I just want you to look at the second to the last line there and read that for me. It says recap tomorrow. It actually uses the exact term recap. Okay, now that that's done, let's talk about some of the other problems. The plug that I showed at the beginning of the one clip, he tried, it was the third plug before he found the right one for my truck. I would expect, because Roadrunner primarily runs International and Volvo, they do have a few Peterbilts, some other trucks, but I would say predominantly it's International and Volvo. So you would think that the Omnitracs representative would have had this information and would have known what plugs to use. Anyway, we're standing out there in the cold while he's trying to figure out what the right plug is for my truck. So while I thought the Roadrunner guy was great, the Omnitracs guy was not near as impressive. And so that's just my take on that. System was easy to set up, as you saw earlier, and it's been flawless. It is far superior to the Rand McNally system, and I'm very happy with it. And so as I was editing this video, I realized there was one more thing I forgot to mention in here. So if the video doesn't flow super smooth, that's why. Another thing that the Omnitracs representative didn't know, and I don't know how he managed to install almost 30 of them before me, he didn't know what my password for the system was. And I find that almost unbelievable too. I guess he was changing everybody's passwords or something. We got out there and he finally got the right plug and everything. And he goes, "Oh shoot, I forgot to set you a password." And I told him what it was on our old system, on the Rand McNally system. And I said, "I bet it's the same on this new system." And he's like, "Well, I don't think so, but you can try it and see." Well, sure enough, it was. So I just kept using the same password as what I did on Rand McNally. But again, that's one more thing that I would expect the representative of the ELD company that's installing these to know. And so anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there. I love the Omnitracs system. I'm not trying to be critical of the company, but that was just my experience. And now let's jump right back into the video. Hopefully, as they install more of these, there'll be a more seamless transaction for people. But me being one of the first 30, they still had some growing pains they were going through. And I'm okay with that. But anyway, that's all for now. I'm going to keep this short because I know everybody's trying to enjoy time with their families. Have a great day, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.